Stop talking bad about my dog, man.
Don't go to Oregon for no shoe deal, man. Real BIA shit. Hey, best in America. Hey, BIA is not a song.
Put a K on it.
Hey, say go
Oregon K.
Careful what you ask for. Yo, we now West Coast boys.
Let them play like we ain't who we spanked back in the summertime. Spank them late, but get back out of date, cause he ain't come outside. Fans pick up them cases who got shot down by the other side. Slide well, you better go look up cases since my brother died. Niggas hoes used to be my bros, turn them homicide. Shit so close, the shit that hurt me most, I gave his mama ride. Bro was my bro, but that shit ghost, you know he testified. Teesky tweaky, take us for no reason, got him petrified.
You heard what they said, Q. Get back, got a date. We are here for another episode of the Buckeye Roast. The Buckeyes get it done 42-21 over the Oregon Ducks. I am Ron James of Best Damn Media, here with my guy, QP Ski. Q, the video had me so hype, I forgot the name of the company.
Of the channel.
How you doing this morning?
Mr. Ron James, I am good this morning. After seeing my beloved Buckeyes partake in this ass whooping that occurred yesterday, I think it's nothing better to do than start the show with prayer. I think we should bow our heads real quick. So let's go ahead and do that. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing my Buckeyes to go back and spin the block on these Oregon fraudulent Ducks and go belt to ass in the Rose Bowl yesterday. Dear Lord, thank you for this man-child and Jeremiah Smith and the way he was able to carve up, sear, souffle, absolutely expose the secondary like he said he would do this season. Dear Lord, I don't know if we should call him Tennessee Day. I don't know if we should call him Oregon Day, but Souffle Day absolutely went crazy on this defense with the help of one Chip Kelly, dear Lord. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing Jim Knowles to reassert the names Him Knowles and actually go stupid on that offense. In the Lord's name we pray, go Bucks.
Go Bucks, amen. Wow, what a way to start the show with a prayer out here. Because, I mean, if you're in Eugene, I bet you could use a prayer after what you just saw. And you talked about belt to ass, and we used a phrase on this show called no swag you. I seen Jermaine Matthews whipping a belt on the sidelines talking about belt to ass after the game yesterday. Q, we can throw that phrase completely out the window and leave that back in 2013 because I went back into the archives, and one of our early shows was the return of BIA. And we talked about the influence that these young Ohio kids were going to have on this room and this culture around this team. And it seems like Jermaine Matthews has made a name for himself as the person that reminds people like, hey, we popped that shit up north too. And the fact that we have someone like that and that he's becoming recognized nationally as the person that talks that shit for Ohio State, as well as Brandon Innis's infamous locker room videos. I don't know. I feel like last night we added a piece of Buckeye lore. I can't sit here anymore. I have to focus my camera. But we have a new moment of Buckeye lore. We talk about the Carson Hinsman missing podcast. We talk about do you want to get on a blitz video? And I think we might need to add Devin Sanchez's sidelines Instagram story from last night to the new piece of Buckeye lore. And it's going to be a if you know type of conversation when you talk to Buckeye fans, when you reference the celebrations last night. It has felt like it's been so long since Buckeye fans have had a joyous moment to celebrate the success and the talent that this team has amassed, and to see them have a moment like that. Because, I mean, it was not only a month ago that we were seeing on the timeline people saying, what is the class of 2021's legacy? And people responded, what legacy?
Yeah.
These guys, I mean, with these last two games, and as Kobe says, job's not finished. Guys, just when you think that you can't do anything worse, they completely redeem themselves, Q. How are you feeling after this win?
Man, it has to feel good. I mean, we talked about it basically all week and feeling like if we could get through this game and go out and play, I mean, it was a downhill from here. And we talked about, man, if they just play like somewhat near Tennessee level, like when they came out and just be aggressive, like they can do anything near that. You had a good feeling. Well, they upped it. A much better team in Oregon, the best team all season. And Ohio State absolutely comes out in the pretty much the first half and puts together a performance. I mean, I don't know if I've seen maybe since that Georgia Oregon game a couple of years ago that dominant of a start with two actual good teams in a game. And the way they came out, it was insane. I like just walking into the bar as Jeremiah Smith scores that first touchdown. I'm like, all right, we're here. And I blink and I'm like, holy like did we sign NFL players over for bowl season? Like, what is going on? Guys were going absolutely stupid. The way Chip Kelly came out and dialed it up, I was like, yeah, this man is in his bag right now, and he's earning every bit of that coordinator money that he's getting. And I'm shocked. I've not been shocked by Ohio State performance. I mean, last week I was like, okay, like I felt like the buildup, but I was like, let's be back to reality. No, it got more disillusioned as they played yesterday. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
A little peek behind the curtain. I mean, Chris Drew and I do the post game on Bleacher Report. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go check that out. But normally during the games, I'm like watching the first half. And then by the second half, Chris is starting to write the show and I'm starting to work on graphics. And like I have to wait until the third quarter because you have no idea where the direction of the post game show is going. And you're trying to make sure your graphics are relevant to what's happening in the game. It's rare that I get games like this where I had my graphics list done by the end of the first quarter and knew who I was about to talk about. We were getting Jeremiah Smith graphics. We were talking about Caleb Downs. It felt like the game was in hand. And even when it started to slip, it felt like complete belt to ass season from the first quarter to the final whistle. And to see this team energized like this and come out and make this statement. I asked the question on the post game yesterday, and it made me sick to my stomach and even ask, was the loss necessary to bring this version of the team out of them? Because we talk about not seeing complete versions of this team. And now since that loss, we've probably seen the two most complete wins. And I saw maybe it was Ari Wasserman on the timeline say last night, like everybody talks about the lunatic fringe and why everyone was up in arms about this team. Look what they just did. Everybody who follows this team has known this team was more than capable of doing that. And we had the back and forth with Goj after the Oregon win when he came in here and he told us no one in the Woody fears Oregon. And I said, that sounds glorious. Go fucking do it. Last time you played them, you lost. If y'all don't fear them, please go show me. They did. I mean, clearly they didn't. They had no worries because they brought props. They brought belts with them. Like, they knew. Like, imagine losing this game and you got to walk back into the locker room with your belt that you brought to the game.
Yeah, that would not have been fun, but I mean, he was absolutely on mark. I mean, damn, it's such a dominant win. You're almost lost for words here, but there's so many places you can go. I mean, it's been a long time since I go across like every position group, and I say, man, they absolutely dominated like this game. Like I look across, like you look at that first game against Oregon. And I said, well, we played probably our B game because you felt like on the defensive line did not have a great game. The linebackers did not have a great game. The secondary did not have a great game. And man, if you say like every position group, even down to kicking field goals, 2 for 2 yesterday.
Hey, I gotta give him his flowers, bro. Jaden Fielding. Q, I called you and I said, you're not going to believe I just saw a video of Jaden Fielding make a 57-yard field goal. And I was like, I don't believe this. Even when I saw the video, I said, that's not him. Who is that? Who is that? And they're like, nah, he's out there hooping. And then I saw that first extra point, and I was like, oh, bro's on bullshit. He hooked the first extra point, and no. Came out there, drilled a 46, had another field goal. Hats off. We know figure of speech around here. We don't take hats off. But shouts out to Jaden Fielding for his performance in the game. And, I mean, for him to step up in that moment and not be broken by the moment of the Michigan game and still continue to fight for this team and go out there and perform, can't say enough about the effort.
That's facts. I think we got a super chat in here.
Shout out to our guy, Mike Green. We got a super chat. Thanks for the 10. Yo, this motherfucking team looks like the best we've ever seen, fellas. Question, that Teton game looks elementary. They want to be a part of this so bad, but this is proven you're only a speed bump. I have to disagree, Mike. I have to disagree. I think the national media sees the beef that we have, not the national media, the national college football landscape, fans included, see what we have with Michigan and toxic rivalry and the lunatic fringe. They envy it. They want to be a part of it. They call us the team out west. Like everybody wants to be. Everybody needs to stay. I hope this was a message and a wake-up call to the national college football landscape that stay out of our business with Michigan. Like what we got going on with them, that's between us, and it's 100-year-old rivalry. Y'all aren't them. Like we've been playing since fucking YMCA's had teams playing against college teams. Like we're not, you guys aren't a new rival. Like we're not calling you the team out west. None of that bullshit. And so when you see us stumble against our rival, just know you're not them. You know what I mean? Like that's our favorite op. Like whatever goes on between us, you're not them. So like just to think because, oh, they did it. How many times have you heard people say, oh, well, just do what Michigan did? How's that working for teams? There's tape. Everyone saw what Michigan did. Why didn't everyone else go do that? It like stay out of our rivalry. You know what I mean? Worry about yourselves. Stay out of what we got going on with Michigan.
As OG Walt said, we the West Coast boys now.
We're the
team out west now. Because we own the West Coast right now. That's how we're feeling, man. I agree, man. I was talking to Mike yesterday, and I'm like, the way this team has played in the last two games, I'm like, how far do I got to go back to feel confident saying another team will beat them? Like, I feel like Michigan last year is not beating this team at the level they're playing right now. I think you got to go back to like 21 UGA, maybe in 2020 Bama.
And it's so funny. It's so funny the way that it flipped because what did I say pregame? I said, I don't know why Buckeye fans would be confident going into this game. Looking at it on paper, a 1-point loss the last time that they played, the Buckeyes got away with a play that's sustained a touchdown drive that shouldn't have been a touchdown drive because of a call that went in the Buckeyes' favor. You lost Josh Simmons. You're on your, sixth iteration of the offensive line. Trayshawn Holden's back. Burke is back. Like, what on paper would lead you to believe other than the anticipation that Ohio State was going to play a perfect game? And everybody understood that this team was capable of doing that. But I kept asking the question, what makes people confident going into this game that we're going to get that game? Because before Tennessee, it felt like a mixed bag of which team was going to show up. And I saw someone say on Twitter, it feels like Michigan beating Ohio State summoned a college football demon from hell, and we have a super team on our hands. And we've been talking about there's no Death Star team in college football, and it's been right in front of us this entire time. And it feels like we're finally seeing it fully operational.
Yeah. I mean, talk about playing to your strengths. And I think I said this on Monday where I said, Oregon has been the most consistent team all year. Oregon's pretty much played their B-plus game most every game, maybe outside of early in the season and maybe against Wisconsin. And I was like, well, if there is a team that has the ability to blow the other out, I believe it's Ohio State because it felt like so much meat on the bone. Though they did play well on offense, they played so poorly on defense. They had the turnover. They had the onside kick that it was like you felt like Oregon was at their very best. And it was a 1-point game on the road. So it was like margin for error shit was lost because there was no margin for error. If they didn't come out and play absolutely at their best, you felt like Ohio State could get this one done. And I didn't expect it to be a blowout. I expected Ohio State to win by a few points, but you see that Oregon, and that's the crazy thing about this game. Like you would look at that score and you would say, oh, Dylan Gabriel came out, threw like 3 picks. Oregon had a fumble. They had missed opportunities. They had a lapse here or there. Like, no, they just lined the fuck up and got blasted. Like offense on defense, defense on offense, man on man, it got beat with nothing crazy even happening.
You made a great point about the Dylan Gabriel no turnovers thing. When you talked about these two quarterbacks, it felt like both of them were tasked with the assignment of don't crash the Lamborghini. And it became apparent earlier in the season, we talked about it, like the numbers floated around about Will's NIL number. By week 3, bro, outplayed his $1 million NIL whatever package that they said that Will Howard got. And we kept saying it felt like he was outplaying his contract. And he continues to do that because while everyone said, oh, Will just has to not crash the Lamborghini, he can't be Kyle and have those same mistakes and meltdown, it feels like he's provided so much more than that. And you even hear in Jeremiah's post game, he said, I love that guy, Will. I'd do anything for him. And the team has fully embraced him. And the elevation of this team, you can't say enough about what Will Howard has brought to this team, not only from his performance on the field, but also the attitude in that locker room. And again, the passes that we saw out of Will these past 2 games, they had us convinced that we weren't throwing because this wasn't in his bag. And I'm like, this whole time, we could have been running the CJ offense.
I don't know if after the Michigan game, if Will Howard went and bathed in the ancient waters of Babylon and got his arm strength up, but this dude is coming out and he's playing right now like probably the best quarterback in the country. Like fucking Cam Ward, fucking Shador, like this dude is out here doing
Cam
it.
Ward's not playing football anymore. He's an NFL draft prospect.
This dude is out here doing it against the best teams in the nation, not the Big 12, not the ACC, like the best teams in the country, and he is lighting them up. I mean, good Lord, I again. Yeah, outpaying him, pay that man whatever he wants. He's got a month left in Columbus. Give him all the cars.
Exactly, bro. Cash him out one last time before he leaves Columbus. Like if they threw Will, if we get, hey, I don't know who's in charge of the NIL. I do know, but you guys out there with all the money, make sure if we get this national championship that Will's pockets are nice and padded before he exits Columbus, because I feel like he deserves an achievement bonus here at the end of the year if the Buckeyes are able to go on and win a natty. A couple super chats I want to get to before we get back into the game. Shout out to our guy, Ron Tarver. Thanks for the 2. Ron, you held it down on Johnny's show. I appreciate that, man. I jumped on the Johnny Olden Jr. show after the Alabama-Michigan game, and I thought we were going to hold hands as Big Ten elites, and I got jumped by a bunch of Michigan fans. And I just did my best to stay on my feet. And I appreciate you acknowledging that I held it down. But shout out to Johnny for having me on the show. And yeah, man, it feels like, I mean, I guess we could stick right there with Michigan, Alabama. I pivot a little bit away from the Rose Bowl real quick. Did you watch that game, Q?
No, I did not watch it, but we quickly talked after that game started about Michigan absolutely jumping out on Alabama. You talk about a good Bama team. Talk about Ohio State made a transformation. I don't know what the hell happened over there in Michigan, but whatever they did before the Ohio State game, I mean, they've been on they did not have a good season, but on a mini tear over there. I mean, you get Bryce Underwood, you get the win against Ohio State, then you go out against Alabama, you make Jalen Hurts, and them boys look as like they shouldn't be there. And the Big Ten rolling right now.
They call us spoiled. I'm looking at Michigan fans like, y'all are spoiled motherfuckers too. You just won a national championship. You guys had a bad season. You embarrassed your fucking rival, and you embarrassed Alabama to end the season. while getting the number one quarterback in the country, and you have a fucking cash fountain just flowing right now. Like, if I'm a Michigan fan, like,
so I'm saying right now, it doesn't.
What are you
feel
crying
like
about?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they had a bad year.
Bro,
Like, you just feel like they just wipe the losses off. Like, yeah, we're good.
Exactly. Like, if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm getting off the Alabama should have hired Sharon Moore tweets. Like, I don't know what. Like, they seem very unhappy, and I'm like, what are y'all mad about? Like,
you're gonna have a bad season. That's a way to do it.
Exactly. I mean, if that's your I know most of them think football started after the pandemic, but like their definition of bad season prior to 2021, a lot worse than this season. So
the season starts at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to thanks for to Ron. We got another super chat from our guy Dylan. Thanks for the 5. When we win the Natty, you got to do a hatless show, Ron. Natty season. That's just not gonna happen. And we've discussed on the show what needs to happen for Ron to do a hatless show, and the super chat numbers are just not high enough for me to take a trip to Turkey right now. So if you guys want to see a hatless show, I mean, send more super chats, become a member on the platform, send donations, all those good things. And once I get this hairline repaired, no more hats. But until then, red hat.
Oh man, bro, come up
I
here
wanted
with an
to.
afro. You know, the super chat money. So when you come up here with an afro, you know the super chat money went up,
bro. Once I go to Turkey, you're not gonna see me. I'm gonna be on here with like a ludicrous fro. It's just gonna be hair in the stream, and you're gonna hear me with just an entire frame of hair.
That's crazy.
I wanted to stick on the national landscape before we circle back to the Rose Bowl and talk about the game. You were in Arizona, 30 minutes from the Woody, and 30 minutes from Washington, D.C. as well. What was it like? Did you go to Tempe during the Arizona State game? Because that was the initial plan for the day.
So the fans packed the and I have a couple videos from friends. They packed the bar in Scottsdale, and it was man, that game was such a wild ride where I felt like Texas came out and I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I thought it was. And they just took their foot off the gas and was like, nah, we'll let them hang around a bit. Quinn Ewers throwing jump balls in the double coverage. Cam Scatteroo going absolutely crazy and saying, no, I'm taking this game over, and pretty much by himself willing Arizona State back into the game. And I really felt, I was like, dang, we're gonna be playing Arizona State next week, and I'm gonna have to come in here talking crazy to a crowd full of people. That game was absolutely nuts. And that's what pretty much college football is about. Arizona State, a lot of people say they did not belong. I was talking crazy about Arizona State early in the year. I was like, they're good. They're never good. Like, what are we talking about? And Dillingham, like I said, has been cooking all year long. He got that team to play well. In Texas, who's as talented as anybody. I know we talk about the $20 million roster. Theirs is more expensive than ours. And Arizona State goes in there undermanned, under-talented, and pretty much is a ridiculous targeting call away from probably man, I'm so tired of targeting calls. I mean, Ohio State has been screwed over as much as anybody, but good Lord, you talk about absolutely folding a game. That was ridiculous. But man, that game was crazy, and everyone was so disappointed when they lost, but the atmosphere for the game was insane.
I feel like we're looking at a sleeping giant in Arizona State because me and you are all too familiar with the resources per se at Arizona State or facilities we could go with. And they just need to get their marketing budget up, because as soon as word gets out about like what life at Arizona State is like, I mean, go look up a video of a Gronk pool party and just imagine that's where he went to school. Like, that was the vision. That's where the vision came from. Like, the second that they start letting people know that, like, there's probably no better place to be during the college football season than the Tempe campus.
Man, Ron, if the talent off the field ever comes close, I mean, if the talent on the field ever comes close to the talent off the field, bro, they're a dynasty.
They'll be talking about Nick Saban, who the Arizona State dynasty is going to run forever if they can ever match the on-field talent with the off-field
2020
talent.
Bama has the trouble keeping up with the talent off the field. That's how crazy it is. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they just hire me, bro. I'll get this marketing up because there's no way they're not having the best class in the country year in, year out.
Bro, my week 1 Arizona State football hype video, and I drop it. Every comment is going to be, there's no football in this video. Exactly.
Oh, man. No, it is crazy, bro. It's absolutely insane.
Super chats is still rolling. Appreciate you, Mike Green, for the 2. I think we was trying to run the clock out. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Q? Any guesses there?
Maybe in the second half or taking the gas off the pedal a little bit. Maybe that. Mike, let us know. Put us in chat.
Let us know in the chat, and we'll circle back to that. And I mean, if our definition of taking our foot off the gas is handing the ball off to Travion Henderson to prove he's faster than your entire roster, run the clock out more.
Oh man, no, the way they set up the run, it was masterful, man. I said last week, I was like, man, Chip absolutely was cooking. I mean, this week, that first half, before they were like, let's just get out of here without injuries and with a win. I mean, do you remember a better schemed up? I mean, Ryan Day. I seen Ryan Day go to a 2022 Georgia team, and I was like, man, he absolutely schemed them up. And I haven't seen an offense called like this really very many times. I mean, Chip, like, better play caller than Ryan. Like, it feels like these last 2 games, the way he schemed up, like, I have not seen an offense call like that at Ohio State. It felt like really in a long time.
And it's frustrating because it's like, man, wow, what did Chip Kelly change up? I don't know. He started giving the ball to the generational player that we had on offense. And it feels like last year when we're like, I guess we could scheme this up for Cade Stover. Marv's over there in the corner doing his homework. Like, we could throw him the ball, but all right. And the fact that, like, we have just been like, fuck it, 4's down there somewhere. I need the shirts immediately.
I have so many moments. If you watch NBA games where you're like, that's a terrible shot, and they just hit it, and you're like, I'll have to live with it. Like, Will Howard looks, Jeremiah's almost in triple coverage, and it's like, that cannot be the throw. And then he catches it, and you're like, what the fuck am I going to say now? Like, he just comes down with it, so it doesn't really matter if he's open, if he's triple covered, if he's double covered. It really does not matter because this kid somehow finds a way to be bigger, stronger, faster than everybody else and go get the ball. Like Zach Smith said, when the ball's in the air, that's your ball. And he's like, yeah, it's mine. I'm going to get it. So it's insane, man.
I mean, and then imagine, like, not wanting to go against that every day in practice where it doesn't end up on national TV and you get to see it every day, and then choose a school where you're going to see him once a year and it could take your draft stock. Like, that is a choice.
I'm a DB. I'm not going to the Big Ten. I'm staying as far away from this kid as possible. Just hope I don't run into him because it's really up when it happens.
It's like, I'm not going to the East. LeBron's over there. Like, no chance. And then, I don't know, something's wrong with my screen. I can't see what this one says. Maze Madman, thanks for the 2Q. What does that say?
I don't know. I just see a little M at the end. I can't,
Goblu? I don't know. Let us know in the chat how you pronounce that. Goblu. I don't know what that word is, but thanks for the 2, Maze Man. Our guy Doug, another super chat.
Go Big Blue. That's what it said. Go Big Blue.
Oh, go Big Blue. Fear the cats. Doug Shepard, thank you for the 5. OG, appreciate you reaching out. Happy New Year's, fellas. Hopefully yours will have the same look on his face as the Oregon defensive back on the 10th. I mean, that was a storyline that we hit on at the very end of the post-game show. And I said, man, what did I say was my biggest nightmare coming into this season?
Quinn Ewers coming in here and putting together a master class and ending the season.
That has been my fear before the Buckeyes suited up for a single game. I said right on the show, my biggest nightmare is the idea that the Buckeyes will face Quinn Ewers and Ryan Day will have to face another demon. But it looks like this is lining up, Q, for the possibility for Ryan Day to shed all of his demons this season. And not this season, this calendar year, because we still have to wait for November to exercise one of those final demons. But if Ryan Day is able to put to bed the Kyle McCord, Quinn Ewers, Devin Brown quarterback controversy saga, JJ McCarthy saga, and get a national championship while going through Quinn Ewers, I think that is another mental hurdle that will unlock another version of Ryan Day. And we talked about the open playoff field currently with Ryan Day, the combined losses in the playoffs, the combined national championships of the coaches he lost to in the playoffs is 11. Those coaches aren't there. That juggernaut LSU team is not in front of them. This game was an opportunity for Ryan Day or Dan Lanning to reach up and assert themselves in the national college football landscape. And Ryan Day was the one that took the opportunity, and he could assert himself into that new echelon of coaches can win. Because, I mean, Pate talks about it all the time. None of the coaches can win the big game until they do. Is Ryan Day going to do that this year?
I mean, that's facts. Every opportunity there is on the board, and it feels like almost a downhill run at this point. If you slay Oregon now, and you look at it, and again, it was one of the things. Oh, Ryan Day versus the SEC. Well, you've already knocked one off the board. You've got Texas coming up next week, and potential Georgia down the line to go get your get back from 2022, where you felt like you should have got a win there. I mean, yeah, if they run and they complete these last two games, possibly knocking off two SEC teams, you feel like there's no really Dragons left until November. I mean, that would be a masterful run. And like I said, after the Michigan game, there's nothing more I want than Ryan Day to be successful at this program. There's nothing more than I want to see that version of Ryan Day week in and week out. And if he does, he ain't got no problems with us. Like
that's the thing. Like, bro. If Ryan Day called me and was like, talk that shit now, pussy, I'd be like, let's go, coach. Let's go. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you guys hate me. I don't care if everyone in that locker room hates me. I'm still rooting for y'all. I want nothing but success for this team. And I don't care who the head coach is if they're winning. And I want Ryan Day to succeed. Like, I mean, how many times have we said, like, I don't want to break the glass. I said it after the Michigan game. Like, Chris, like, do we want to fire Ryan Day right now? And I'm like, no. Like, I don't want to do that show. And I feel like we've rushed to that point so many times. And while the frustrations are there, have to let the season play out. And a lot of people are saying natty or bust. It feels like this is the most joy that we've seen in the fan base in the 3 years covering this team. I can't remember a time that the level of optimism and excitement about the team has been at this level.
Yeah, I mean, you just felt like the stars that have final aligned for this team, and we like some other teams. I mean, we have some natties we remember, but we know how hard it is to really go and get a natty, and we felt it year after year. Like, one thing changes, and every Ohio State team, probably going back to 2015. Probably could go win a natty. You felt like maybe outside of the 2018 season, you felt like, oh, one thing goes different. That team could possibly go and play for a natty. And it seems like now everything is aligned to the fact of like, man, if this team just doesn't even play somewhere near this level that we know they're capable of, they're the odds-on favorites. I was talking to Robbie last night because he called me and he was like, yo, as a Notre Dame fan, the last team I want to see right now is Ohio State. I want no part of them. And he's like, let me check the spread. And Ohio State's like plus 100 right now. If you bet on them to win a natty, the odds aren't great at all. I think everyone knows. I'm surprised they're at plus points even right now. So maybe I need to hop in and take that and get a little money back. But you just feel like man, this team can only stop itself. Despite the offensive line replacing starters, they felt like they haven't missed a beat, and it's felt like everyone, including the coaches, have upped their games and are like playing at a level where this is the best team in college football. We've known that, and that's why we complain so much. That's why we argue so much. We're like, yeah, we won, but this is not the level to go to even get the best out of your players. Like, heck, win a natty or not, like, go out, give it your best shot. I don't think anybody's ever upset after a loss when Ohio State actually shows up and plays, and you're like, hey, we just got beat by a better team. There are no better teams left right now. So if they play at their level, you feel it like, yo, it's finally time. We had to wait 10 years to get it, but it's finally time.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about winning in college football is hard. And everybody acts like it's so funny that the way college football fans talk to each other as if these teams aren't more alike than they want to admit. It's crazy that every team needs transfer offensive linemen. Every team needs new edge rushers. Every team needs a 5-star quarterback when it comes to recruiting. Everyone's fighting for the same thing with limited resources to crown one champion out of 4 teams in the country. And, like, you go in any space and you hear teams struggling. We've talked about a kicker all year. Y'all want Texas's kicker? Like, who is out there? And I asked the question earlier in the week, is there a team in college football that – how many fan bases do you think out there in the top 25 are like, yeah, I'll trade places with another team for the trajectory of the next 5 years? A lot of teams feel like they're right there or close. Yeah. And the way – I don't know if their pride gets in the way, but the way they talk down on other teams, you won't think that they're going to want to switch places with them. They think that their team's going to get it right in that time frame. So it'll be interesting to see if Ryan Day is able to get it done. But right now, I'm looking at the joy in the fan base, how exciting that win was last night. And you kept hearing people say, Ryan Day has to get it done in a national championship. I mean, do you still have questions about Ryan Day with the two performances that you just saw, given his track record that he's proven to, even despite the losses to Michigan, been able to rally his team, and his team hasn't quit on him as far as coming into these playoffs and competing for Ryan Day?
Yeah, I mean, it almost felt it's not almost a question of if it feels like win, and you have to win it, but though it's more like I said this after the Penn State game. It's not the fact that we won yesterday, even in dominant fashion. It's a matter of fact of how we won yesterday. All the things that we have continued to complain about week after week. Ryan Day, where's the rotation? Ryan Day, where's the aggressiveness? Ryan Day, getting off to a fast start. Ryan Day, having your team come out in a big-time game and play at their top level. All the questions we've asked about Ryan Day over the years, and you had it all yesterday. I thought Will Smith was in the game at one point yesterday. It was Hero Canoe, but I was like, there's no way he's out here emptying the clip like this. Like, the rotation, and we haven't touched on it. Bro, the game from the defensive tackles yesterday, and along with the defensive ends, that's one of the most dominant defensive line performances I've ever seen, regardless of who's been on the defensive line. Oregon could not run could not run the ball. I think the teams we played in like the first 3 games, like I don't know, was it Bowling Green and Western, whoever we played, got more push than Oregon did yesterday. They got absolutely no push. It was crazy.
I'm going to play you a clip and how far we have come from this moment. Someone asked me, hey, Jim's the head coach of the defense. I'm like, no, it's not. The only person that Larry Johnson answers to at Ohio State is Gene Smith, and he doesn't work there anymore. So he's the captain now.
Yeah, bro. Larry Johnson's little finger, dog.
So I was wrong to distrust you.
Distrusting me was the wisest thing you've done since you climbed off your horse.
It felt like we were going to have a shootout in front of the saloon between these two at the beginning of the season when people were talking about the lack of pass rush. Not only did they get after the quarterback, you had nowhere to run up the middle, and it felt like Tyleek and Ty Hamilton were blowing up every run play that Oregon ran yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I got to ask the question. Is Oregon soft? Because apparently Ohio State is the softest team ever to step on the field in college football, and they finished with negative 23 rushing yards. That is an insane stat. Negative yards rushing in the game is an insane. I get it. You got to count sacks, but that's an insane stat, and they couldn't move at all. I was like, wow, Tyreek made money yesterday. Wow, Ty Hamilton made money yesterday because the line of scrimmage never moved. It felt like they never snapped the ball. They were just in the same spot they were before, and the guy would get tackled. It was an insane performance. And then JT and Jack off the edge, Kenyatta Jackson, Katie Curry, and Cody Simon. I owe the biggest apology to Cody Simon. And I thought Cody Simon was good all season. I felt like he had his limits in places, but I don't know what compound V he took before the game. But man, that was the best linebacker performance I've seen. I don't know in how long. He was an absolute monster. Freak show yesterday, flying over the field, getting Dylan Gabriel, who was the unsackable quarterback. You just couldn't sack Dylan Gabriel. We finished with 8. Insane performance yesterday, man.
I was looking at old clips from the show last night, and I was laughing at us. I was watching a preseason episode of the show to see what we were saying about the team, and we were talking about the preseason Buckeyes Award nominees, and it was Sonny Styles and CJ Higgs, and we both said, well, maybe one of them could win it because they're fighting for the same position because we know Cody Simon's starting at Mike, and boy, did he live up to it. And I think it's a testament to something that we talk about around here all the time about the value of snaps early for young guys. And we've seen it now in this linebacker room. It is it felt like the Buckeye, to see the progression of Tommy Eichenberg, Steel Chambers to a degree, and Cody Simon, after watching them struggle on some of the worst defenses in Ohio State recent history, and to watch them progress into the players that they became by the end of their career. I mean, it's a testament to all three of them, James Laurinaitis, and the development in that room, because at one point in their career, all three of those guys were guys that people were questioning, why are they on the field, myself included. And to see them all by the end of their career show their true value at their position and their progression, I mean, you can't say enough good things about what they've done and how they've progressed in their career. And Cody Simon's year has been nothing short of spectacular, and it's been awesome watching him do it in the Blocko jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a 2K person, but what are those points to level up your player? Like all those
VC.
Yeah, the VC. It felt like Ohio State just forgot VC was a thing. And then that's the Michigan game. They're like, oh, we had 14,000 points just waiting here to up the attributes on these guys. Let's spend it all now. We forgot this was a thing. And I don't know, the development in the last 4 weeks, it felt like it has trumped careers at this point. You've never seen Jack Sawyer play at this level for almost, 3 years? JTT, Cody Simon, Lathan Ransom, another guy who was an absolute monster yesterday. And I think I said early in the season, I think he's one of the best safeties in the country. This duo is absolutely insane, but just an underrated guy and absolutely bringing the heat yesterday. Oregon, Zach said yesterday on the show, it was no moss. The way they were handling these dudes, it's just time to tap out. We don't want anymore. Where does this physical team come from? It was insane, man.
They were playing tap out by Future in the Spaces after the game last night.
they needed to. I give so much credit to Oregon at 34-0, not just packing it up and actually trying to do something, because it was like, damn, these dudes ain't even going to get off the bus for this game. I mean, the look they had, Dan Lanning looked like he had zero emotion. Yes, we talk about the most fired up coach on the sideline, one of the most fired up around the country. Like he had no emotion. Dylan Gabriel looked like he's seen a ghost. When you look at you, just like, yo, how did we get here? Like those guys were absolutely dejected. So just credit to them for coming back and trying to make it a game. But man, when you get punched in the mouth like that, you look up this 34-0 and you realize, like, yeah, seasons probably are, besides something magical or, I don't know, the Ravens coming out in the second half instead of the Oregon Ducks. Like, it was pretty much a wrap. So credit to them for trying to make it a game.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to make it a game, but the fact that how good does it have to feel for Ryan Day to have that feeling of seeing Dan Lanning's face after he was so, I mean, they were calling him Murder Man on the timeline before the game. I mean, he's Mr. Cool GIF, Mr. Meme, all of these. Everyone loves Dan Lanning because he's so cool. I hope everyone remembers these images of Dan Lanning after the game. And I hope recruits remember these images of Dan Lanning after the game, because Ryan Day, even after the game, still has that job's not finished face on. And you love to see it from Ryan Day. And you heard reports around the Woody. It felt like he was a bit you could feel that everybody was locked in the Woody, but it felt like Ryan was still kind of not there. But I don't know I think that might have been a miscalculation of not there and hyper focused.
Like, or he just went insane.
It's like, I don't even, like, you saw him smile, but even in the moments of celebration, it felt like Ryan Day was slightly hesitant to enjoy the moment too much because he knows the job's not finished.
Nah, that's facts. Hey, as a wise man once said, don't go to Oregon for no shoe deal, man. This PIA is a way of life. And I have to bring this up, especially before the show ends. I would really like to know where Trey McNutt is right now. Like, I normally don't call people out. I'm not one to call recruits out. I get these are kids, but he wanted to be in the spotlight. That man has had words for Ohio State all season long, unprompted. Ain't nobody saying nothing to Trey McNutt. He went to Oregon. It was like, cool. Nah, he wanted to bring up BIA, belt the ass, talk crazy we played earlier in the season. All this down talk about Ohio State. I would love to know where he is right now. I need an interview. That's the person I need to hear. I don't need to hear from Dan Lanning. We cool with Dan Lanning. It's fine. He had a great season. I need to put Trey McNutt on the podium and say, hey, what was that stuff you was talking earlier?
Posh said it's not BI anymore. It's just BTA because it's belt to ass out here.
Oh, that's crazy.
We got another super chat we got to get to. Shout out to our guy, Mike Gray. Thanks for the 5. Ryan is the downfield shot goat paired with Chip with the misdirection goat. Together, perfection. Yo, Q passport bros. Next up, laugh my ass off.
Oh, that'll stay an insider, but we're not going to talk about that on the show. But yeah, Ryan Day is playing at extreme levels, and it's good to see, man. And like I said, we knew he had this in the chamber. We've seen it come out, but this is a time where it's been consistent, and we're like, okay, Ryan ain't the Big Ten, cool. He's James Franklin. He's gonna win all these games. He should win, but for the most, except Michigan, he's gonna win all these games. He's gonna be consistent, but high level Ryan Day putting 2 back-to-back performances where we're changing his nickname every week. It's just souffle day for me right now because he's absolutely chefing, searing, cooking it up. And if he continues at this level, man, he's next up in college football.
Q, this show has been absolutely too positive. We're the negative Nellies. We poop on everything. We actually aren't real Ohio State fans, so we do have to talk about something negative before we get out of here. And I have to ask you about it.
Okay.
Ryan Day's drip. Is this his look, like the way that like we just associate the sweater vest with Tress? Like, is Ryan Day just going to dress like a funeral director before every game with these plaid sports coats? Or are we going to get, bro, like if he wins the Natty, can we get Ryan Day a stylist?
Bro, we got to get him. Whoever helps out the South Carolina women's basketball coach with her Gucci fits on the sideline. If Ryan Day wins the Natty, we need to get her stylist and bring him up. We
have Ryan Day stepping like Kim Mulkey on the sidelines after we win a Natty.
Absolutely dressed and buttoned down. We gotta have that. Those suits be crazy.
Or do you think, or is that the look? Like, are people gonna start wearing like funeral director jackets to the shoe and like that? Like, is this a moment like, all right, I got it done. I get a stylist. I'm about to level up, or is it like, I got a natty. I'll wear whatever the fuck I want.
Dude, trend Saturday. That's what I guess will happen. If it works, it works. Whatever you're doing, don't stop doing. Whatever you ate for breakfast, eat it again. Like keep doing what's working.
Our guy Big Ern said Ryan Day is good being nerdy. He's good.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go for it.
No, I was gonna say I don't know if you have anything else before we get out of here, but I mean, Buckeye fans have to be on cloud nine after that, because even in most Buckeye fans' wildest dreams, I don't think many Buckeye fans anticipated being able to enjoy that game stress-free start to finish.
Yeah, this was a super fun game, man. I said it a little bit ago. I was like, a lot of these games, and you know, every year we'll get that one game with a lot of rewatch value. We're like, I just want to rewatch this game and feel good about the team. You'll get one of those where you're like, yeah, I just need to go watch it again. Just turn on the TV, grab a beer and just hang out and just feel good about Ohio State. They've just gave you 2 games with so much rewatch value to feel good about the trajectory of this team and where it's going, man. I'm absolutely floored. At the end of the season, I did not know where this season was gonna go, and they absolutely flipped the campaigning Ohio State has done to say, hey, man, we're good over here. We get it. We got bumps in the road, but we have turned this around, and it feels like we're in the middle of a magical run. I mean, when again are you going to see a freshman absolutely come out and probably be the best player in college football? When are you going to come out and see a team with the offensive line get absolutely ravaged by injuries and still come out and push around some of the best fronts in the nation? Like, the fronts for Tennessee and Oregon both are crazy, and they have another chance to do it against Texas next week.
We were 1 injury away from starting Justin Fry at guard.
We were 2 injuries away from starting us.
I'm not very tall, but I might have the weight for guard.
I'll say us and Bobby. Like, we really were about to go to the chamber, man. It's just like these storylines are truly writing themselves. And again, you said it. You said at the beginning of the show, Texas next week. Quinn Ewers. I mean, you got to feel good about this game. I'm going into it. Like, these storylines are really writing themselves. And I just want to continue on this run and hope Ryan Day can continue to slay the dragon, because nothing would make me more happy than if Ohio State goes and wins the Natty and they turn around and beat 3 SEC teams and the best team in the country all season long. That's a hell of a run.
And absolutely. And I want Buckeye fans to remember, and this is not only a message to Buckeye fans, it's a message to myself as well, that regardless of how this season ends, I want you to take stock of how you feel right now in the moment, and remember this feeling after this game, the feeling that you had after the Tennessee game, and how you feel about this team, the coaching staff, regardless of how this game ends, and cherish this, because we talk about this all the time. We only play, if we're lucky, 15 games in a season, and winning national championships is hard. Like, winning games in college football is hard. Anything can happen on Saturday or Wednesday or whatever day that they're playing college football these days. But anything can happen in these games, and to take the moment to enjoy it. And it's a conversation that in the 3 years of covering this team and being super critical that we've had to have with each other of like, hey, I get it. You want them to look perfect every week, but it's just not realistic. And you are going to find yourself so miserable in the offseason if you don't take the minutes and moments to enjoy these parts of the season, despite how they end. Because if you let your whole experience of watching college football start and end with a national championship, go look around the national landscape and think about how many miserable fans there are out there if that is what they live and die by. So you have to find the wins and enjoy them. And I mean, right now, the way this team is playing and the 2 games and the experience and the joy that they've brought this fan base in the past 2 weeks, regardless of how this season ends, I can tell you for a fact, having been in front of a microphone and camera for the last 3 years throughout this stretch of losing to Michigan and not meeting expectations at the end of the season, this is undoubtedly the highest and most exciting the fan base has been in my 3 years in front of a microphone, and I want fans to take stock of that and enjoy this moment. And even when people are throwing shit and mud at you at the end of the season, if this doesn't go our way, just remember we had higher moments than most teams had all season. And even look at Oregon. They did everything. They achieved our goals. They beat Michigan. They won the Big Ten championship. We're still here playing at the end of the season. And I'm sure right now they'd like to be in our place. So just take stock that there's very few college football fans that have things to be happy for. The Buckeyes have a moment to enjoy. Make sure you cherish this moment at the time.
That's 100% fact, man. It is so hard to get it done, but you got to enjoy the good moments with the bad. And we say this every week. We don't want to come on here and cry and bitch about this team. Like, yeah, I mean that gets views. Like people should, when people are angry, they definitely are more outspoken to come out. But I don't want to do that.
I say that all the time. Like the boost in numbers and views when we lose, not fucking worth it. We are fans. Like we did not go to journalism school. We both have careers outside of media. Like we do this because we love this team. So like we get no joy out of firing the head coach, out of slamming kickers. Like we don't get any enjoyment out of any of that. I promise you.
Trying to answer questions that we have no idea how to fix. Like, what happened? I don't know. I watched the game.
Should have handed the ball off to Ron James more. Like, what do y'all want me to say?
Why didn't we throw to Jeremiah Smith? I don't know. I would have thrown it to him, but maybe the coach decided different.
Exactly. So I just hope in 2025, Buckeye fans take stock of their current predicament and look around the national football landscape and realize, regardless of how this season ends, the sport is very hard. Not only one champion wins every year. And, we have a huge season ahead of us. And if it doesn't go our way, just know we did have these 2 weeks. And if it does, oh man, pray for the rest of the college football landscape because we are going to be insufferable.
The return of best damn space is going out and after everybody on the timeline.
Oh man, it is going to get spooky out there. But for now, you can catch us here on the Buckeye Roast. You can catch us in the Bleacher Report app, on the Menace to Sports platform, on the timeline, everywhere. Q. Let the people know where they can find us. Oh, and you'll probably be able to find us on a more consistent basis when both of us go back to work, but both of us are still not back at work. And we just wake up and like, are you ready to do the show yet? No. Okay, we'll start. Just text me when you're awake.
So waking up, but hey, man, it's always a good time. Shout out to Ryan Days Beard for being the first one to chat. I don't remember if we said it or not, but
we did not.
Shout out to him. Most definitely. Yeah, man, it's been a good time. Like Ron said, enjoy the run, and we will be here to pod you. I want a national championship podcast. Oh, we got one more. Go ahead.
One more super chat. Who are we going to pair with Caleb Downs next season?
That's a good question. We got some good in-house choices. Again, we haven't seen much from Malik Hartford, but we know he's a good player. I've seen enough to think the development next year will have him there. And Jaden McClain, I mean, we've seen him play already, and if he was playing. If he was playing out there with Caleb Downs yesterday, I would have felt good about it. I don't know if he put a Lathan Ransom performance together, but he's looked good when he's got the minutes, and he started the game this season. So obviously, you look in house. I think we got the guys in the room. It's more about development. Save your money, develop those guys, and it developed here. Go develop here. You got the talent, so it'll be.
Couldn't agree more. I feel like the answer is somewhere in that room between those two guys, and I have all the confidence in the world that they'll figure it out. And if they don't believe that they have a guy there, they'll go get someone. But I mean, everything that we've heard about Malik Hartford as a true freshman, I mean, you saw him play in the game as a true freshman. That is a guy you have to believe is on track to see the field here soon, as well as Jalen McClain with how high they have spoken about him here at Ohio State. Q, that's all I have. Let the people know where they can find you. And stick around after the show. We got a host of outros for you guys today. A little playlist for you.
All right. Well, I don't even know if we said it, but everybody like the video. Make sure you do that. Like and retweet on Twitter and in the community. And if you're not in the community, let us know. We could get you in there. If you want to find me, man, I'm City Boy Quentin on Twitter. Not hard to find. Flying Johnson on IG. And Minor League Films are in the movies here on YouTube. So I'll spot you can find me. Ron, get us out of here.
If you want to find me, you can find me on the timeline at 2Ts. It's 2_TES. You can find us here weekdays for the Buckeye Roast, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. You can catch us. You can catch me in the Bleacher Report app. It's kind of sporadic right now with the way the Buckeyes schedule is, but I mean, we normally do instant reaction, so check for us there after the games, post games on Menace to Sports as well. We appreciate everybody tuning into this episode of the Buckeye Roast. And Q, you know how this thing ends. It's always go Bucks, and of course, OH.
Ayo.
Ohio State and Oregon. Oregon goes on the road, upsets the Buckeyes. They come to Columbus and knock off the Buckeyes. Now there's video out there that a rubber duck was planted at the Big O there at Ohio Stadium.
We're not sure who put the rubber duck, quack, quack, in the middle of the Big O.
First of all, what happens is your body controls the mind. Your body tells your mind to shut down. And when you shut down, you lose the day. The edge is not going to the edge to say, I'm average, I'm good. I'm good for the day. We got enough elite players. They should be dragging guys to be elite. It doesn't stop being average. It begins to be elite when you can cross the line. Today is that kind of day. You can feel it. You can sense it. The guy said, my body is sore. My mind is hurting. So I'm going to shut down today. We got a chance to do one thing that every team in the country can't do. We got a chance to step up, man. We got a chance to step on the ledge, you know what I mean? And to me, I think it's a free fall. To be elite, you got to take a free fall. That means you can't be afraid to go to the edge. And coach said, jump. He said, how far, coach? Where you want me to go? Every guy got a chance to do that today. If you're elite, grab somebody today. Take it with you. There's no more average in this program. There's no more average in this program. It's a bad word. Not in this program. I can name some program that are average, but not the Ohio State University football team. Come on, best coach in the nation. Fuck y'all talking about, man? Come on. Stop talking bad about my dog, man.
Don't go to Oregon for no shoe deal, man. It's real BIA shit. Hey, best in America. Hey, BIA is not a star.
Put a K on it.
Oregon K. Careful what you have.